So guys, today I just wanted to do a short little video on some of the rare gecko species we're working with, stuff you don't typically see too often. First thing I'm going to show you guys here is the Eurodactylodes agricolae. These guys are too cool. The male is right over here, and you guys will see it's a pretty small gecko, and it's actually adult size, this male. Now what's interesting about these guys is normally you would think that a little animal of this size would be really quick, really jumpy, really nervous, but that's not the case at all. This gecko is actually really tame, very similar to crescent geckos, both in care and disposition. There the male goes, and the female is actually quite a deal bigger than the male, and this is very normal for these guys. Now, I don't usually handle these guys too often, so they may be a little jumpy, a little nervous, but typically they're not. If you handle them frequently, well, not too frequently, I suppose, but if you handle them just as much as you would handle crescent gecko, gargoyle gecko, chua gecko, they'll basically end up having just about the same character and disposition. You guys can see they're not incredibly fast or anything like that. Just as I say that, it's running up my arm. But they're a real cool little species, and basically you keep them exactly as you would a crescent gecko. They like the temperatures between 70 and 80 degrees about. You're going to usually want to spray them once a day depending on where you live, what the humidity is, and all that. Now, something that's very important is that these guys like to eat small prey items. Even though the female is probably able to eat half-inch crickets, we feed her just quarter-inch. We feed the male also quarter-inch. And they seem to do really well on that. You guys can see there's a couple of calcium dusted crickets there. Our little lay box is over here. And basically this 12 by 12 by 18 is fine to house the pair. Could probably even add an extra female in there if we wanted to. But you don't come across these guys too often. The trio we actually bought actually ended up being 2.1. So at least we got a female. I mean, that's good. Now right beside here is Strophurus taenicauda, I believe, or taenicauda. I'm probably butchering that name completely, but here is the female. The common name for these guys is the golden-tailed geckos. The reason being is because they have a really nice golden orangish stripe down their tail. And these geckos have to be seen in person to be believed. I don't really even know how to describe this lizard. I mean, my camera doesn't really want to pick it up, but around its iris it actually has really cool silver markings. And then, I mean, the color of the gecko is just incredible also. You know, it's basically a very light blue with all those black dots all over it. And these guys are super tame. You can see the female is basically not even moving. These geckos are really cool. Unlike the Eurodactylodes agricolae, they're not going to eat rapaceae or anything like that. These guys are strictly insectivores, so they're going to basically eat the same size of crickets. They could go all the way up to half-inch, and that's the female. I don't currently have the male in with the female. You guys can see this cage is the same size as the one we saw here. It's a 12 by 12 by 18, and the male is over here. Now these guys like it a little bit hotter than the agricolae, so we have small little heat lamps over them just to increase it by a couple of degrees. And there's the male. So these guys are super cool. They're quite expensive right now, and I think that has to do with them not being as popular as I believe they should be. But we look forward to breeding these guys, and hopefully we could help the price go down a little bit. Not to where they're incredibly cheap like normal leopard geckos or normal crescent geckos, but just make it so that it's at least affordable for most people, because they're really awesome species to keep. Super simple, especially these guys. The agricolae, exactly like crescent geckos, you're going to feed them rapaceae or some kind of a fruit smoothie blend, and yeah. Incubation is basically the same for them too. So these guys are just really small version of crescent geckos, and they're beautiful. I like them a little bit more than I like crescent geckos. I find that once you handle them for a little while, because they're probably so chunky, they just don't tend to jump as much. And yeah, really cool animals. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys will actually research both these species and think about actually keeping them yourselves, because they're just incredible animals. Thanks, guys.